Is Jungkook hiding something from Jimin? This little leak changes everything. Who really knows this secret first? What really happened behind the stage of BTS's last concert? Why was Jungkook silent when Jimin whispered one sentence? Is there a secret that is never revealed to the public? Find the answer only in this exclusive article. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. What do you think about Jungkook and Jimin's relationship now? What exactly did Jimin whisper into Jungkook's ear right after they sang the last song at the concert that night? Why did the backstage camera suddenly turn off 30 seconds after that moment? And who was that strange man in black who appeared 5 minutes later, entered the locker room with a tense expression, and then came out silently? This question came from thousands of soldiers around the world who watched BTS's concert that night with enthusiasm. But no one was prepared for the shock that occurred after the stage went out, when the cheering stopped, and when Jimin stopped Jungkook's steps right in the narrow corridor leading to the dressing room. Those words were not heard clearly by the public. But Jungkook's expression said more than 1,000 sentences. He fell silent. His eyes widened. And for the first time in his stage career, he chose silence when asked by reporters 5 minutes later. However, is this just part of the concert drama? Or is there a surprising truth that has been hidden behind their relationship? Several witnesses, including senior Big Hit staffers who declined to be named, said Jungkook's reaction that night was not an act. It was a real shock. Even their top manager looked frantic, tapping the phone repeatedly, calling someone who never answered. But wait a minute. What does all this have to do with a piece of audio recording leaked a week earlier, which overhears someone Jimin allegedly saying, "If he knew this, everything would change"? Some said Jungkook's reaction that night was just part of a stage play, an emotional improvisation to get closer to fans. But if that's true, why after the concert was over, Jimin immediately disappeared from the internal party that is usually mandatory for all members to attend? Why did he choose to go alone to an old building in the Hanamdong area that, according to public records, has not been used since 2020? A taxi driver, who did not want to be named, said he drove a man who looked like Jimin to the location that night, carrying only a small bag and wearing a gray hoodie. When asked if he was sure it was Jimin, the driver simply replied, "I will never forget the face of a person whom the whole world knows." But that night, his face wasn't the face anyone wanted to recognize. His face was like the guy who just blew up someone's world. And so, speculation began to grow. Some believe that Jimin has been keeping something for years, not a secret about himself, but something much deeper, more personal, more devastating. An old tape came back to the surface. Not video, not stage audio, but snippets from behind the scenes that were never released. In the footage, Jimin is seen sitting in a corner of the room while writing. Next to him, Jungkook falls asleep. Jimin's faint voice read his own handwriting. "I know he would hate me if he knew, but he better not know. I can't afford to lose him. Not now." Those words became a blast in the middle of the ARMY community. Some interpret it as a pent-up feeling of love, which is never expressed. Others are more extreme. They believe that Jimin knows big secrets about Jungkook's family or past, something that is hidden even from Jungkook himself. And more questions arise. Was their friendship all these years just an illusion woven with small lies? Has Jimin manipulated the situation in order to keep something bigger? Or, on the contrary, is it Jungkook who has known everything all this time and is waiting for the right moment to unpack it? The situation escalated when BTS' official account did not upload anything for a full 48 hours after the concert. No behind-the-scenes photos, no thanks, no live from the hotel as usual. Even the personal accounts of the members are silent. Quiet. As if the whole group was holding their breath at the same time. The fans began to ask, then urgently. Hashtags "Where is Jimin" and hashtag "What did JK hear" began to rise global trends. All want to know, what exactly is the whisper all about? Then came something unexpected. A former Big Hit production staffer, who now lives in Osaka, sent an anonymous email to a Korean fan forum. From 2019 to 2021, Jimin and Jungkook repeatedly asked for the camera to be turned off when they were training together at night. At first, everyone thought it was an ordinary request. But one night, when the crew forgot to turn off the fourth room camera, they captured an image that was never broadcast. In the picture, Jungkook appears to be crying, sitting against a wall, while Jimin stands before him, looking like he is pleading. No sound, no audio, just an expression. But that expression says it all. The email also mentioned that a few days after the incident, an elderly man claiming to be from Jeju came to see the agency's staff. The man brought photos of Jungkook's childhood, photos that were never released to the public, including one showing little Jungkook sitting on the lap of a man with a Jeju-style wooden necklace. Surprisingly, the photo also showed another person, Jimin, who was about 4 years older than Jungkook. No one can explain how it is possible that they were in the same place as a child. No public records, no old posts, no evidence that their families knew each other. But some fans began to dig deeper, comparing the background, clothes, and even the shade of the sun in the photo. A horrifying theory began to spread. Jimin and Jungkook may be related by blood. Of course, this made many fans tremble. If this theory is correct, then all interactions during this time should be reviewed. Not as fan service, not as chemistry on stage, but as something much more complex and dark. A family secret that may have been buried for years, and that only one person knew from the beginning, Jimin. But why did he reveal it now? Is it because of pressure? Is it because of guilt? Or is it because he knows his time is running out? For a whole week, none of the BTS members appeared in public. Some schedules were suddenly canceled. Even a live radio show that had been scheduled a month earlier was canceled due to internal conditions. Fans can only guess, conjecture, and dig into every possibility of a digital footprint. And then, on the 8th day after the concert, Jungkook uploaded something on his personal account. Not a photo of a face, not a video of singing. Just one picture, a piece of paper inscribed with simple calligraphy. It contains only 2 words **, I know. The online community exploded. Is this an admission that Jungkook has known everything for a long time? Or have you just found out and are now facing the harsh reality? Within hours, thousands of speculations had sprung up. But one thing is certain, *** after that, Jimin's account disappeared from the public. **, all posts disappeared. The photos are deleted. No more new digital tracks. All that remains are screenshots, memories, and one old comment from Jimin on Jungkook's 2021 upload. Comments that used to be taken for granted **. If you knew, you would understand why I am doing all this. And now, those comments are being reread by millions of eyes that never realized how deep and terrible the meaning of those words was. That night, a few hours after Jungkook's post of just 2 mysterious words, I know. The world seemed to freeze in confusion. But more than words, what made it all feel terrible were the silent expressions of the other members. Delete some old uploads. Disable comments. Jeon, who was in the military, was suddenly mentioned in an anonymous message sent to one of the big fanbase accounts. He knows first than anyone. But even he can't do anything. Because this secret is more than just a personal relationship. Here, about the continuity of BTS itself. Does that mean BTS is built on deliberate lies? Is it a relationship between members, or something much more structured, like management intervention? Speculation swelled, some saying that since their debut, certain members have been paired by the agency not because of emotional closeness, but because of business intentions. Jungkook and Jimin, according to a theory that is starting to spread like the plague, have been manipulated into fake relationships, forced to appear sweet, approached in camera angles, directed in variety shows, to meet market demand and maintain the balance of the group's popularity. But what is most surprising is not the theory of manipulation itself. Instead, an audio recording leaked from nowhere, featuring the voice of a senior vocal coach mentioning the members' names while speaking in a frustrated tone. If they keep lying to each other like this, there won't be a concert next year. It's even a training exercise. You think I don't know why Jimin always comes an hour before the others? Because he knew Jungkook would come last. He's dodging. They don't stay away from each other because of trivial conflicts. They have a bomb ready to explode. The audio went viral in a matter of hours. Although Big Hit did not give an official clarification, fans knew exactly whose voice it was. And they also knew that the other voice heard in the recording, in a low and cold tone, said quietly, "If this explodes, it's not just the 2 of them that will be destroyed. We're all going to drown." The question is no longer what happened between Jimin and Jungkook, but who tried to hide it, because since then, all official BTS channels have turned sterile. There is no interaction between members. There is no live broadcast. Even Jungkook's normally massively celebrated birthday was only marked with one upload. a number with no name. 09.01 date of birth. But there is no word congratulations. There was no mention of any other member. There is no emoji, no feelings, just numbers, only distance. What makes things even darker is an investigative report from a Japanese entertainment journalist who claims to have seen confidential documents from Big Hit's legal staff. In the document, it is called that there is a potential internal lawsuit relating to theft of personal data and exploitation of visual identity. Although no direct name was mentioned, speculation flooded in. Has Jimin been using Jungkook's personal data or memories to create an on-camera persona? Or is it Jungkook who feels used to maintaining the group's image, even though he already knows that the feelings behind the stage are a fabrication? The most painful thing is when old videos come back. The video shows Jungkook crying backstage in 2022 after a concert in LA. Many used to think he was crying from exhaustion. But now, the video is being rewatched with different eyes. Because at that moment, Jimin was standing not far away, his face was cold, his eyes were not directed at Jungkook, but at the camera, as if realizing that everything was being recorded. In the footage, Jungkook is heard saying, "I can't keep pretending, Hyung. I'm tired." Sentences that used to sound like a form of fatigue now sound like a cry for help. The last wish of a person who has been holding back something alone. And this is what makes some fans start to turn around. Those who used to believe that their relationship is the most sincere, the most beautiful, are now beginning to ask, who is lying to whom? And what's most stifling is the theory that early on, the agency knew of a possible blood relationship between the two, but instead used it to build a narrative of chemistry. Is that true? Is this all just deliberate emotional exploitation? A former content editor, in an anonymous interview, said that some footage of the interaction between Jimin and Jungkook was asked not to be aired, citing two personal reasons. But he also said that several times there was footage that was actually forced to appear because it looks natural and touching. He ended the interview with a cold sentence. For some people, tears are a rating, and they don't care who gets hurt, as long as the numbers keep going up. Now, all that remains are bits and pieces of mystery, old comments reread, body gestures analyzed millions of times, and one big question that hangs like a dark shadow over a stage once full of light. Is the love shown to the public really love, if it is formed from fear, lies, and manipulation? Or is it all just a temporary stage before the final curtain falls, and the truth is revealed before the world? That day, after the frenzy about Jungkook's mysterious videos and uploads subsided a bit, something came up that made everything collapse again. Not a new upload, not an official statement, but an anonymous email message was leaked in Net's online community. It was a transcript of a conversation between two of HYB's senior staff. And if it was true, then the K-pop world had never experienced an earthquake of this magnitude. "I told you from the beginning, they should be separated when they debut," said one of the voices in the recording. "But they put them in a group. This is crazy. And now we panic just because one of them began to remember." Remember? Remember what? The message made the virtual world explode. Some fans started connecting dots that used to feel random. Why does Jungkook often have blank moments during interviews? Why did he ever say, "I don't remember much about my childhood. Even the photos feel like they're not mine"? And why? In one of the old interviews, Jimin looked at her with a strange expression when the phrase was said, before immediately cutting off the conversation. A big theory emerged. Was Jungkook a victim of memory erasure? Was his past manipulated by the agency? Or is it worse? Is he not just a victim, but a product of a failed social experiment? Sounds crazy. But HYBE is not just a music label. They are conglomerates, have teams of psychologists, image experts, and even neurobehavioral consultants. A few years ago, they admitted that they were open to using AI to improve idol performance. But what if the technology was used further? To polish the narrative, shape the identity, even set the psychological proximity into remember? One of the most sinister clues emerged from an old video that was not previously considered important. In one of the clips from the trainee era, little Jungkook is seen sitting alone, staring at the camera with a blank expression. A coach walked by and said, Do you remember your name? Jungkook replied in a low voice, John. Then shut up. The coach laughed a little, then said, That's not the answer you trained yesterday. As if the name itself is a script that if true, then it's not just about Jimin and Jungkook's relationship. It's a brutal question. Are there BTS members whose identities are shaped, controlled, or even taken from others? And furthermore, who knows about this? RM, the leader, is known as the most rational figure. But sometimes he looks very depressed when the topic of trust or truth comes up in the interview. He once said, In this world, I don't even know for sure who I am. But the truth is, I have to believe in the narrative I choose. Does that mean he knew, but chose to remain silent?